Someone's been a naughty boy down at the Menace labs. In a good way or a bad way?
It's another day, it's another dollar, and welcome back to yet another review with us, the Review Bros. My name is Aaron, and today I am bringing you a pre-workout from a company you might not have heard of.
Menace.
By Naughty Boy Lifestyle. Gonna get into all the usuals, guys. The taste, the price, the label, the effects, and sum it up with our final verdict. Is this gonna be something you're gonna purchase down the line? Let's get into it. Let's do it. Taste and mixability of this product. Now I'm going to chuck up an overlay right now. It does clump for sure more than an average pre-workout. It's actually quite difficult to get it out of the container. Nevertheless, guys, the thumbs up point is it does come in 5 different flavours. So the flavour we have is Gotti Grape. I can tell you it also comes in strawberry and mango, juicy fruit, which sounds nice, pineapple, and blue strawberry. They are the flavours, so a bit of choice all down the fruity line. Let's see how it mixes. Let's see if the clumping affects mixability. Obviously we've used this several times in the past, but we're going to pretend it's our first for the camera. Not the best. There it is. Potentially some more shaking. It has improved. I would presume if you had the patience to shake it for a good minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, potentially it would all dissolve. Nonetheless, guys, flavour of a Gotti Grape. Not bad. It's definitely got a chalky consistency to it on the background. A bit of bitterness on the background as well. I'm not too sure what ingredient causes that. It's actually quite weak flavoured as well. I expected it to be quite strong. I've only got it in 300 millilitres of water here, which is what it recommends. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 on that flavour front. Probably knocking it down because of the mixability as well. It still hasn't mixed up perfectly. Nonetheless, you know what? Flavour is the least important. It's doable. 6 out of 10. Okay guys, let's move into the price section. How much are you going to be looking to spend on this product? So you'll head on over to naughtyboylifestyle.com where you'll find this product for £34.99. Now there's a big thumbs up. It is a 30 serving container, which is great news. What I'll say is that comes out to be only £1.16 per serving. So it's definitely cheaper than average pre-workout. Don't get us wrong, we've definitely seen cheaper out there. But it does get a 6.5 on our consistent scale. So better than average. Label time, guys, let's get into it. So it's 30 servings, 1 serving weighs 14 grams, and we start off with L-citrulline, pure version, vegan fermented, 4 grams, which is a respectable dose, guys. Obviously, that's going to boost those nitric oxide levels up in the bloodstream and give you a pump. So that's our first ingredient right there. Followed up by glycosized glycerol powder, 65%. Again, a respectable 2,000 milligrams. So again, that's going to boost those water levels up in the muscle cell, thus giving you a pump in that form. So yeah, that'll work well with the L-citrulline to start. And the Naughty Boy finishes there at 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, So that's responsible for that beta tingle, that itchy, almost allergic feeling reaction. Also helps boost endurance once it's built up in the system. Then we move into the straight up Menace section, which starts us off at a nice 350 milligrams of caffeine. So approximately like 3.5 cups worth of coffee. It's the main stimulant in this product that's going to give you the boost needed for the gym. Moving us on into Juglans, but not Juglans Regia, Juglans Whole Fruit Nut, 300 milligrams. So this leaves some question marks over our heads as to what form that Juglans has come from. Obviously, we do know that Juggern's Reeser is normally dosed at 50 to 150 milligrams. So the fact they've got 300 milligrams in here leaves us a bit worried that it's not come from a potent or pure source. Again, effects will determine that later on. Biophytum actually is, unfortunately, the change in this label that has gone and has been replaced with the hordenine dose you see here. Now, hordenine is a nice stimulant. It gives some fat burning properties. It metabolizes fat cells. However, I do think that will be a negative change in this new formula. We will see. Then we move into Alpha Zone, which is help with that tunnel vision focus at 600 milligrams. Good ingredient, guys. Do not often see that. It's going to help with cognition, concentration, keep you in the zone in training. And L-tyrosine, a nice 1,000 milligrams, the amino acid responsible for focus and concentration, will work well with the Alpha Zone there. And the label wraps off with a nice absorption matrix with the one ingredient, Astrogen, which is the trademarked version. We like that. It's going to help digest and use all the ingredients most efficiently possible in the body. So let's see how it comes together. And it is time for the most important part of this and any other review. The effects. How did this work in true life? Forgetting the label in the gym. Let's start off at the beginning as we always do. So we start off with the beta alanine feels. And you know what? They were nice. They weren't the strongest we've ever had. We believe that Astrogen forced it to be a bit more powerful. Obviously, it has got that clinical dose of beta alanine. So on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being itching your absolute eyes out, we gave it a 7. You know what? It did the job. You could definitely feel the beta alanine. So that's either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on whether you like that. So I'll start off with some positives of it. There was no crash. There was no jitters. There was no negative energy, no cold sweats, no, dribbly mouth, any negative connotations that might come with a high stimulant pre-workout. And that is relatively where, unfortunately, the pros stop. Now, what I will say is the pumps were okay. They were good, actually. They weren't bad by any stretch of the imagination. You could definitely feel that muscular contraction. You know what? You felt reasonably focused on that on the training sessions at hand. The pumps, personally, I wouldn't write home about them, but nonetheless, I gave them a 7 out of 10 on the pump scale. So you can get a pump on with this product, that's for sure. Then comes the energy, and this is what we thought would be a standout factor. And unfortunately, it just fell short in that area. It gave it a slight caffeine kick, but definitely not as much as we was expecting. Obviously, it does have a 350 caffeine. That feels more like 150 caffeine. That is the absolute truth to it. And the reason we think that is perhaps because, you know what, there's other bits and pieces taken out the scoop. The fermented citrulline may have absorbed some of it and chopped it up and made it not quite as usable as perhaps other pre-workouts. We're not too sure. It just definitely didn't have the kick that a 300 plus caffeine pre-workout has. The focus element is another element we obviously look for in a pre-workout. And you know what? It was okay. That is a very, very key word here. Okay. It wasn't standout. It wasn't enough to write home about. It was probably below average for what we look for in a pre-workout to today's calibre. And unfortunately, again, like I say, it did fall short in that area. So pumps, 7 out of 10. Energy for us, unfortunately, fell at about a 4 out of 10. And then the focus element was about average, so about a 5. So what myself and Craig have said is there's no negative connotations with this pre-workout. So we normally go 5 or below when it starts to take away from the session. You know, when you feel weak, you feel energyless, it sort of saps you. There's negative energy from it and sweats, just a negative connotation to it. Now, what I'll say is that didn't give us that. I would say this felt more like a pump product and thus gave us some slight positives. So we've added those scores together. We've truly looked into it. And we've given it a 5.5 on the effects of the product. So there is definitely better on the market. This one is one of the ones we thought would definitely perform better than it actually did in true life. We've actually given it to friends as well. That is very important to say. And they agree with us wholeheartedly. Now, Instagram feedback on this is 30% positive, 70% negative to, not great. That is from feedback we've received from other people that have been using Naughty Boy. So, you know what? Unfortunately, Fell short in our estimations, but you know what? They have some limited editions coming out, so let's hope we can get our hands on them. They might be better, but unfortunately 5.5, because it didn't take away, it just didn't really add on, unfortunately. So guys, another important note we do need to make in this effects section is we have got a tub that has a different ingredient in it to the ones that are currently on sale. Now they've done a 1-for-1 swap. So our tub has a biophyton, which is the DMHA-esque feel ingredient that is also famously in MV Pre 2.0. It's the powerhouse ingredient, we think. Unfortunately, that has gone in newer editions and it's been swapped out for the fat burning ingredient hordenine. Now, there is, in our opinion, it is not going to make much change to the product. However, what I will say is there is absolutely strong potential that the newer products might be even weaker than this one, because hordenine is just a fat burner with some stimulatory properties. Biophyton is a powerful ingredient. So it is a bit of a thumbs down and a shame they swapped that out. You know what, it's definitely not going to have much more positive effects with the hordenine version. It's time to wrap things off, guys, with that final verdict where we go through the scores on the doors in historical order to the review. So we always start off with the taste and the mixability. There was some clumping issues with the tub, as you guys saw. It mixed okay, probably less than average, and it did taste a little bit weak, so I did give it a 6 out of 10. It's doable. It's just not fun. Then I moved into the price of the product, which I gave a 6.5 on our consistent scale. A cheaper pre-workout than your average, so that is a thumbs up there, and 30 servings is also good. Moving us into the effects, most important part of this, and as you guys know, any review, does this work in true life in the gym? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, not as well as myself and Craig were expecting. It did only get a 5.5 simply because it didn't take away from the training sessions. It just didn't give much to them. Energy was low, pumps were okay, again, nothing to write home about. Unfortunately, the Juglans Riesler that we expected to come through, we do believe that's from a poor source. It's from the whole fruit rather than the bark or the seed. So it is a weaker version, hence why they put it at 300 milligrams in here. So the effects just don't come through as we thought they would. So that gives the total score of 18 out of 30, which unfortunately, again, yes, is definitely lower than average. There is better options on the market, we cannot deny that. Do shop around, you never know, you might get it on a bargain. It is definitely worth looking. However, I wouldn't be spending the money that they're asking for, naughty boys. However, guys, as always, stay stimmed. Perhaps not on this, but plenty more reviews coming soon.